What's up, everybody? Jay here from Tap and Turn Gaming, coming at you today with another EDH deck tech. This is for a deck that I'm actually in the process of building. I just kind of whipped this list up just to kind of get a video out there for you guys. So with the release of Conspiracy Take the Crown, we had some pretty cool legends in that set come out. So once I saw this card right here, Queen Marchesa, I kind of was drawn to it. I really wanted to build the deck around it. So I decided to go ahead and start doing that. So this is kind of like a prototype build. I'm really looking for you guys' suggestions and whatnot of what to put into this deck. As it stands right now, shouldn't come as any surprise to you all that have seen my personal deck techs in the past. I like to do tribal stuff, so seeing as Queen Marchesa is she's an assassin, I decided to go tribal assassins with this deck. So basically what she does is she's a 4-cost 3/3 with Death Touch and Haste, so that's pretty cool. When she enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. So what the Monarch is a mechanic that released with Conspiracy 2. Basically, when you become the Monarch, at the end of your turn, you draw a card. To become the Monarch, you would have to have a card that says specifically you become the Monarch on it, or if somebody else is the Monarch and you deal damage to them with a creature, then you become the Monarch. So it's kind of a cool little mechanic. I just like the extra card draw, honestly, if I'm currently the Monarch. So she does that, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent is the Monarch, put a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch and Haste onto the battlefield. So what I like about that is if you're not currently the Monarch, she kind of gives you the means to obtain that status back by letting you generate those 1/1 Death Touchers with Haste. So I thought she was pretty cool. I also really like the art on her a lot. I think the artist did a pretty fantastic job with the art. But that's the commander of the deck. First up, we'll take a look at the land base I went with for this deck. It's very black heavy, so seeing as it's Mardu colors, red, white, and black, I didn't add any Boros dual lands into the deck, just Orzhov and Rakdos, because they will produce black, and the deck is very, very black heavy. There aren't very many red and white cards in the deck, so you'll kind of see in the mana base that it's pretty heavy on the black. So we'll start off with Bloodfell Caves, Bojuka Bog for that graveyard hate, Cinder Barrens, Crypt of Agadeem to get lots of black mana if we have lots of black creatures in our graveyard, and most of our creatures are black, so if they're in the yard, this will generate us a pretty decent amount of mana. Dragon Skull Summit, Evolving Wilds to filter for those basics, Foreboding Ruins, Forsaken Sanctuary, Gaia Reach Sanitarium is a nice little way to draw some cards, to refill your hand. Obviously you don't want to do that if you only have one card in your hand, unless, that card is dead, or if you have no cards in hand, I should say, because then you're going to draw a card and then discard a card. But let's just get some card draw, so it's pretty nice. Isolated Chapel, we run 3 Mountains, Orzhov Basilica, Orzhov Guildgate, 3 Plains, Rakdos Carnarium, Rakdos Guildgate, Reliquary Tower for that no maximum hand size, Rogue's Passage because it kind of fit thematically for me, Scoured Barrens, Shambling Vent, 9 Swamps because we're pretty heavy on the black in the deck, so I wanted to go heavy with the basic swamps, Temple of Malice, Temple of Silence, Terramorphic Expanse, Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth because the deck is black heavy, so we want to be able to produce black as much as possible, and Vault of the Archangel to give our team Death Touch and Lifelink. So that's the mana base, pretty basic. I am open to suggestions on it because this is kind of like a prototype deck at the moment, so if you have any suggestions on that, please let me know. Next up, I guess we'll take a look at our instants, actually, because they're right underneath the lands. More or less just all removal here. Seeing as it's tribal assassins, assassins are very adept at killing things. So basically, I kind of thematically went with a lot of instants that kill things or remove things off the board. So we have Anguished Unmaking, exiles a non-land permanent, we lose 3 life. Hero's Downfall, Mortify, Murder, Terminate, Unmake, and Utter End. So basically just all removal there. Next we'll look at our artifacts we run. We run Commander's Sphere for a mana rock that taps for any of our colors, and if we no longer need it, we can pitch it away to draw our card. Door of Destinies, because what tribal deck's complete without Door of Destinies? Heartseeker is an equipment, generally not one that you really see very often, but I felt thematically this equipment fit right into the deck. Because you can unattach it to destroy any creature. So I felt like an assassin would probably use this weapon. So the equipments in the deck I felt like kind of thematically fit that assassin theme. Mardu Banner, just another mana rock for us. Nekote is pretty thematic, I feel like. Whenever the equipped creature deals damage to a creature, as long as this remains in play, that creature gets tapped down and never untaps as long as it stays in play. Whenever equipped creature deals damage to a player, that player loses 1 life. So basically drains your opponent for an extra point of life if you hit them with this creature. Orzhov Signet and Rakdos Signet, just some more mana rocks for us. Same with Soul Ring. What commander deck is complete without a Soul Ring? Umezawa's Jit. Normally, I probably wouldn't spend $30 on a copy of this, but I did obtain a From the Vault lore for MSRP at the Battlegrounds, so I do now have one in my possession, and I felt like it fit the theme. It pumps creatures and kills creatures, so I felt like it thematically, fit that assassin theme as well. And then Whisper Silk Cloak, I felt that fit as well. Gives the creature unblockable and Shroud. Next are the sorceries. Assassinate, obviously, because we're a tribal assassin deck, so we have to run Assassinate. Decree of Pain, a sweeper for us. We draw cards equal to the number of creatures destroyed with it. Dreadbore, just a straight-up removal spell on a creature or planeswalker. Exsanguinate, I felt like, fit the theme. Immortal Servitude, because a lot of our creatures are low casting cost, as you'll see once we get to them. So, this card will basically resurrect a whole bunch of stuff out of our yard for us. Mizium Mortars, we can use it to, the image is taking a little while to load there, but basically for 2 you can shoot a creature for 4 damage, or if you overload it, you shoot every creature you don't control for 4 damage, so pretty nice. Vindicate just straight up destroys any permanent. Apologies for the image is not loading. Apparently Tapped Out is being a little annoying at the moment. And then Wrath of God, just another sweeper for us. Then we'll look at our enchantments. We run Dictate of Erebos because it's basically Grave Pact, but with Flash, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper than Grave Pact. Fervor gives our entire team haste. Gratuitous Violence doubles all the damage that our creatures deal. Palace Siege is a nice way to get some creature recursion going. Or if we don't need the creature recursion, we can choose dragons on it and drain our opponents for 2 when we gain 2 on our upkeep. Rage Reflection gives our team double strike. Retreat to Hagara, because I like the +1/+0 and Death Touch whenever we landfall. So I feel like, Assassins having Death Touch is pretty thematic. And Sigil of the New Dawn, just another way to recur some creatures. Whenever a creature dies on our side of the board, we can pay 1 and a white if we do return it to our hand. We run 1 Planeswalker. We run Obnixilis Reignited because he draws cards, kills creatures, and that emblem is pretty brutal. Whenever a player draws a card, you lose 2 life, so if you slap that on an opponent, they're probably going to die very quickly. Alright, lastly, the creatures, because this is a tribal deck. So we run Abyssal Hunter. He taps guys down and deals damage to them equal to his power. Adaptive Automaton. I pretty much play this guy in every tribal deck that I run. When he comes in, you choose a creature type. He becomes that type in addition to his other types, and he pumps the chosen creature type +1/+1. Elisha is not an assassin, but I felt like with this deck I wanted Queen Marchesa to have lieutenants, and one for each color. So I felt like Elisha fit that role very nicely. She's some pretty nice creature recursion. Plus, this deck wants to be aggressive, so she kind of fit right in. Athreos, God of Passage. Not one of the quote-unquote lieutenants of the deck, but his power is just, nothing to scoff at. You're either going to get a creature back to your hand when it dies, or your opponent's going to pay 3 life, and they're only going to pay 3 life so many times before they're going to let you take the creatures back. Big Game Hunter, when he comes in, destroys a creature with power 4 or greater. Dark Imposter exiles guys, and he has all activated abilities of guys that he exiles. Erebos, God of the Dead, lets us draw cards and makes it so our opponents can't gain life. Final Sting Fairy, when he comes in, he destroys a creature that was dealt damage this turn. Gouldraz Assassin, basically, just kills things. You can level him up. At level 2 to 3, he gives creatures a -2/-2. At level 4 or higher, he gives them a -4/-4. Hunter of Eye Blights, when it comes in, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you don't control, and then you can pay 2 and a black and tap him to destroy target creature with a counter on it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a +1/+1 counter, it could be any kind of counter. Kiku, Knight's Flower, she basically makes creatures hit themselves for their power, so if the creature that you're targeting has equal power and toughness, it's going to kill itself. King's Assassin, on your turn before you attack, you may tap it to destroy any one-tapped creature. It's kind of like Royal Assassin, except you can only do it before your Declare Attacker's phase. Murderous Redcap, when he comes in, deals damage equal to his power to target creature or player, and he has Persist, so when he dies, he comes back with a -1/-1 counter if he didn't already have one on him. Necrotal is a 2/1 with first strike. When he comes in, he basically, you get a terror on a stick. Nightshade Assassin, a 2/1 with first strike. When he comes in, you can reveal X black cards in your hand. If you do, target creature gets -X/-X, so he kills things, and he has Madness. I don't think I have any ways to kick off the Madness unless someone forces me to discard a card, but it's there if I, ever have the opportunity to use it. Orzhov Euthanist, kind of like Final Sting Fairy, just without flying, but he also has Haunt. Paragon of Open Graves pumps all my black creatures +1/+1, and then you can pay 2 and a black and tap him. Another target black creature you control gains Death Touch. Not an assassin, but he's basically going to pump my entire team and give something Death Touch, which I felt like was pretty thematic. Royal Assassin, everybody knows what he does. Scarblade Elite, you can tap him to exile an assassin card in your graveyard to destroy any creature. Serpent Assassin, I forget what he does, you gotta wait for the image to load. Come on, tapped out. Load that image. I believe when he comes in, he kills a creature. And he's a 5-cost card, so we're just gonna skip him. Silent Assassin, 2-cost 2/1, pay 3 and a black, destroy a blocking creature at end of combat. Silumgar Assassin is a 2-cost 2/1. Creatures with power greater than his can't block him, and he has Megamorph for 2 and a black. And when he's turned face up, destroy target creature with power 3 or less. Stronghold Assassin lets us sacrifice guys to destroy target non-black creature. Thalia, Heretic Cathar, is my white lieutenant, a 3/2 with first strike. Makes it so that non-basic lands and your opponent's creatures come into play tapped. Thrill Kill Assassin, just a 1/2 with Death Touch and Unleash. Unliving Psychopath, an 0/4 for 4. You can pay a black to give him +1/-1, or pay a black to destroy a target creature with power less than his. Next up we have my Black Lieutenant, Vizara the Dreadful, 6-cost 5/5 flyer that taps to destroy any creature and it can't be regenerated. And lastly, Zathrid Slyblade, a 3-cost 2/1 with hexproof, where you can pay 3 and a black until end of turn. It loses hexproof and gains First Strike and Death Touch. So pretty cool. Basically, if you activate that, anything it goes to combat with, it just insta-kills, more or less. So that's about it for the deck, guys. I guess we can take a look at the mana curve. As you can see, pretty high on the 3-cost stuff. You know, a lot of my creatures cost 3 or less, so you know, pretty low mana curve overall. You know, so it curves up into 3 and then, you know, pretty heavily down from there, from 4 to 5 to 6. No 7-cost cards, and I think maybe just one 8-cost card. As you can see, pretty heavy on the black, not much red and white in the deck, kind of support colors, I guess. But I'm really looking for you guys' input and suggestions for this deck. You know, I really like to be like on theme with decks like this. Hell, I mean, thinking back, I think I've pretty much every deck that I've made in recent memory has been a tribal deck. So they're just really fun to build for me. But yeah, I'm just looking for suggestions on this deck. If you guys think there are any cards that I should add in that would fit kind of that assassin-y theme, you know, let me know in the comment section below for sure. But this has been Jay with Tap and Turn Gaming. This has been my Queen Marchesa Tribal Assassins EDH deck. Hope everybody enjoyed watching this video. If you did, throw a thumbs up on it. It helps out a lot. Again, leave me some comments of what you think of the deck, and if you have any suggestions of cards to put into it. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, Tap and Turn Gaming, please crush that subscribe button. We really do appreciate it. But thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you guys later.